Hi guys, very good evening all. Today we have discussed more about the installation part, right? And today we are going to show SQL Server installation errors. Let me show off them. Let me show you one more thing. I'm not discussing about the troubleshooting, exact troubleshooting, but I'm showing a little bit about how to verify the something goes wrong on installation part. Okay. Assume your installation got file whenever your SQL Server Management Studio, whenever you are installing the SQL Server set of files, or you are installing SSMS, when you are installing installation got when your installation got file, basically, so we can verify that is what we are going to discuss. Troubleshooting, I will make a separate session. Now, first location is whenever you are storing the binary files, wherever you are storing your binary files, right? Either you are providing C drive or D drive or E drive. Go to binary files, go to program files, go to MS SQL Server, go to version. Basically, SQL follow the compatibility, means compatibility ID. Okay. So for SQL Server 2080 and 2590 and 2800 and 2008 or 200, 2000, 2012 110 and 2014 120, 2016 130 and 2017 140 and 2019 150. These are all the compatibility level. So Microsoft came up with one unique ID for every version, that is a compatibility. So when you go for the SQL Server 2019, compatibility is the 150. On that, go to setup bootstrap. There is called folder log. In the log, there is a summary.txt. The SQL Server will write SQL Server got file or success on this summary.txt. This is your summary.txt file. This is the first location where you need to monitor and where your installation got file or got successful in summary.txt. Okay, you can go to verify also. It will write to pass case it got file, it will write file. This is the first location where you will get complete information about your SQL Server installation failures, summary.txt. Okay. Someone is asking, I'm installing SQL Server and installation got file. Where you will verify? So set up Bootstrap and summary.txt file. You can tell directly. Don't tell like C folder, program files, Microsoft SQL Server 150, and you can tell directly set up bootstrap and log folder summary.txt file. That is first location. I will verify why my SQL server got file. And second location is one more. This is my first location. So we are getting the complete the folder again. Log folder. Go to log folder. Go to log folder and go to recent log. My recent log is This is my recent log. Okay. Under that, there will be detail.txt file will be available in one more location. Is not only summary.txt will be there, multiple log folder will be created. Either go for recent log. Okay, log folder, you will get it. One more location, this is detail.txt. Okay, so when you go for detail.txt, means assume you are performing SQL Server installation. You have started the set of files are basically 99% it got successful. Only 1% we have done any mistake when you are selecting the location. If the properly you are not copied the set of files and you don't have right permission over the server. Okay, something here antivirus is blocking in real world. Also antivirus somewhere, your antivirus is also blocking you. Sometimes your antivirus blocking you and are downloaded you downloaded 32-bit SQL Server version and you're installing on 64-bit flavor. So there are couple of reasons, that's why SQL get files. Okay, when you SQL Server got file, one more location summary.txt, one location is a summary.txt, one more location is detail.txt on same folder. Okay, So when you open a detail.txt, you need to start reading the logs from bottom to top, not top to bottom. When you open here and you need to again and again, I'm telling it's not a easy task. This is completely log. How about SQL Server installation? It is it got fail or anything and come down. Then you need to start reading the bottom to top. Okay, you need to read error logs from the bottom to top. Okay, there are a couple of shortcuts where you can easily find the something like file. You can search with file. You can search with missing. You can search with denied. You can search with registries. Again, I'm telling, even you go for Microsoft also, they will also collect all these logs and they start analyzing the logs. It's not easy, and we cannot analyze in a simple like 5 to 10 minutes. It may take hours to start analyzing the logs, and you do everyone. So when you start analyzing logs and you came to know why SQL Server got installation got file. For example, I can tell you, assume you are installing one application on your smartphone or laptop, and that installation got file that will go and you will search in Google, right? And anyhow, you will fix that issue and you can install your application. Like same here also, you can go and search and what is the issue, you need to fix it. After that, you need to fix the issue. So sometimes missing registries, sometimes missing DLLs. Okay, sometimes missing DLLs will be available, and sometimes access is denied, sometimes antivirus blocking you, and you need to start, and I will tell you 2 or 3 scenarios in troubleshooting session why our installation got failed. Okay, then you will get a better idea and you will become the stronger. But you need to read, and again I'm telling, you need to read summary.txt and detail.txt, and one more location why your SQL got file, one more location also it will be available. I will show you SQL setup. Here also you will get the complete information. So your installation, when you installing SQL Server Management Studio, or when you installing any software and respective software, it will write in the login name. Okay, login here. So it will start writing log here, and you need to see a time frame. And when you installing SSMS, here time frame you need to see what is the time frame you are installing, that you need to see. Okay, this is the one more location, sir. Most of the people don't know about this location. Okay, so when you will go for this location means, especially when you go for installing SQL Server Management Studio, and when you are installing SQL Server and your installation got failed, and you are not able to find anywhere logs. Okay, then these are 3 locations where you can find why my installation got failed, and you need to collect all this, and then you need to start analyzing. You need to search file or deny or missing. Okay, then you need to start keep on, okay, analyzing the logs by going to Microsoft blog and search, this is my error got file. Okay, then you need to start investigate. But mostly 99% again I'm telling, SQL Server never fails until unless you first time whoever install someone trying to install the SQL Server, there are not properly install SQL Server. That may one reason, or someone properly uninstall the SQL Server. That could be one the reason. That could be a reason. Maybe someone will Windows team, or your Windows team has been performed their patches or something, and it may take our SQL Server DLLs or something has been corrupted. That is also one reason. There are couple of reasons. So why our SQL Server installation will get it again. 99% it got never fails. when we are doing properly, and few are not confidence how to install SQL server. You need to become yourself confident in the theoretical concept and how to download, how to copy, and how to install. Whenever you are installing, what are the parameters I need to look into, and what are the locations having proper permissions or not. Everything you should be more careful in case if you are blindly installing, then definitely you should face some troubles whenever it got files. So first time, that's what I'm telling, that you can play with the SQL server in your local system, your laptop. Who starting your career, who already working, they know. Who are starting your career, you need to just play, and don't play it blindly. You need to analyze, and you need to be careful while installing SQL server. You need to watch more videos, and after that, then you need to start installation. Again, I'm telling, I'm not explaining any troubleshooting today. Just I'm explaining three locations of where you identify case something happened wrongly. Okay, you are comfortable these three locations, right? Everyone install the SQL server. We are taking a separate session for the split stream and the silent installation and the troubleshooting also. I'll give a couple of scenarios where I personally face whenever I'm installing SQL server. Now, when you install the SQL server, okay, so as I told you, right? And the instance is nothing but collection of databases, right? As I told you, when you install SQL servers, no user databases will be created. Means user database means, as I told you, right? Instance is nothing but collection of databases. So when you install SQL server, no user databases will be created. Means user databases means we are creating our own databases by default. We will get it the system databases when you are installing SQL Server by default. You will get it 5 system databases by default. Whenever you are installing any number of times, every instance you will get it 5 system databases. Every instance will get 5 system databases. Okay. One is model database, one is master database, and model, and MSDB, TempDB, and resource database. Total 5 system databases are available. Very, very critical databases. Every database having their own unique use. Okay, make a note. These are our 5 databases will created when you install SQL Server instance. Every instance will get 5 system databases. Every instance is the independent, and every instance is the independent. Okay, so now when you go for the system databases are master and model and MSDB and tempdb and resource database. So first, let me discuss about master databases. What is master database? Master database contain complete your instance level information. Master is nothing but out of your SQL server. Entire your database engine is completely rely on the master database. Your database engine completely rely on the master database. So master database complete instance level information. Again, I'm telling, forgot about data. I'm not telling about data information. Level of information is completely your database is your database, and your database locations, and linked servers, and the logins, passwords, and number of information, it will maintain the master database. So whenever whatever we are trying to, we want to see that technically we need to call it is a catalog. Master database contain multiple catalogs like sys dot system, sys databases, and sys dot process, and sys dot objects, and sys dot cats. All the system related catalogs, system related object, it will be available in the master. Master database means complete instance level information will be maintained in the master database. That is the first thing. And master database having MDF and master database LDF and the two startup parameters for your database engine service means what do you means what do you means that means see when you open the configuration manager last time I have seen right when you go for a SQL server install SQL server service I saw you right last time SQL server service and SQL server go to properties see here startup parameters MDF and LDF see here you are getting select everything and master LDF and master MDF in this two startup parameters in your SQL server service. If we stop SQL server services, your database engine will be down, right? Means master, you want to master connect to database engine. When you are connecting to the database engine, if you want to connect your database engine, SQL Server is the primary services. If you want to connect database engine, SQL Server is a primary services. So for SQL Server, master database MDF, master database LDF, and two startup parameters means if you want to start SQL Server service, make sure that your master should be healthy. And in case if your master database corrupted, your SQL services will be down if SQL services will be down, entire your database engine will be down, right? So there are interconnection link. That's what. So master database is the startup parameters for your SQL servers services. If you want to do, make sure that if you want to do run the SQL services, make sure your master database should be healthy. In case master database got corrupted or someone is deleted the files entire your SQL engine is will be down SQL engine will be down. Now model database, what is model database? Okay, if someone is asking how many system databases are available, you need to tell five databases. Okay, and the master database contain complete information, instance level information such as metadata like databases, locations, logins, and passwords, and linked servers, and also master databases MDF and master database LDF for for the two startup parameters for our SQL service. Nothing but database engine. That is one thing. Now model database. When you go to the create database, means assume I wanted to create one user database, my own to my own database to store my data. To store my data, I want to create a one user databases. See, whenever trying to create database, go to SSMS. Let we can try to create one user databases. You go to SSMS, connect to the instance. Whenever I click a database, new database, user database, see here, I'm getting two files here. One is primary data files and one is a log file. Initial size is 8 KB, 8 MB, and auto growth 64 MB. I'm getting some information about this database, right? So from where I'm getting, sir? From model database, I'm getting. Model database acts as a template for newly creating databases. Just blindly make note if you want to create any new databases. So where future will be inherited means how data files I need to create, how many logs I need to create, what is the initial sizes, what is auto growth size, where I need to create the files. So where it is inherent from model database. So model database is primarily when you want to create a database. If you something happen to model databases, you cannot create any new databases. But existing databases, no need to worry, it's working. But newly creating databases. So whenever you are going to create new databases, whenever you are creating new databases, model databases will act as a template on the backend. If you want to create, it will inherit the features from the model database. Means how your model database look, how your database will be look like same to the model database. And let me go to the model database properties, whatever you are able to see here, and a new database, whatever I am going to create also look like same, right? And two files, one is primary, one is log file, and the initial size 18888, auto growth 6464. Here I need to create my log files and data files. So by default you are getting the same values, because whenever you are creating new database, it will be inherent the features from the model database. For your confirmation, let me do one thing. I'm going to change my initial size 15. I'm going to change on model database. Let me restart the services. To do any make changes on SQL server, you need to restart. Go to model properties. It is changed, right? And when you go to create new databases, it also got changed, right? Going to create new database, primary data files, initial size 15, it got changed, right? So getting right, that's what model database act as a model template for newly creating databases. Only creating newly databases, not existing databases. It won't affect when you are supported. It won't affect on existing databases. It is supposed to create new databases only. It will inherit the features from the model databases like locations, how many files I need to create, what is the initial size, auto growth, and a certain level of properties. It will get it from the model databases. Let me ask one question. If a model database is got corrupted, whole SQL server will down or not? It will work or not? Yes or no? Both are right only. SQL won't work as correct, and SQL will work is correct. Both are need to tell. And both when your SQL server is running, and when your SQL server is running and the model database is corrupted, nothing will happen. Only we cannot create any user databases, but you can, you are keep on getting some pop-up, and you are getting the pop-up, but SQL server is running and SQL will run, SQL can run, but you are getting warning symbol every day. Master database is got corrupted warning, but your SQL services will run. But when your SQL services is stopped, when your SQL services stopped, or you can restart, and model when model database is got corrupted, and your your starting SQL server, it won't start, means like whenever you're restarting, or whenever your SQL server got stopped, it won't start, means when I stop the SQL services, when I stop the SQL services, currently my SQL server is down, right? Down state. So currently my SQL is down. See, when I stop SQL server, entire your instance will be down, right? Entire your instance will be down. When your SQL is down, and when your SQL is down, and a model, when your SQL is down, and your SQL is down, and model database got corrupted, your starting SQL, it won't start. SQL is running model database. When SQL is running model database corrupted, nothing will happen. SQL will run, and it get pop up every time. Okay, we would see SQL services will be running state only. But when your SQL services stopped and the model database is corrupted, right? Your starting SQL server, it won't start. Why? Why SQL services got, it won't start? Because when you restart the SQL services every time, your TempDB will be recreate, right? See, one more database, that is nothing but TempDB. Whenever you restart the SQL services, TempDB will be freshly recreate every time. When you restart your SQL services, TempDB will be recreated freshly. When your model database is corrupted, how your TempDB will be recreate without model databases? Your TempDB won't create without your TempDB won't create without your TempDB. Your SQL server will not start. That is the reason. When you restarting SQL server, every time TempDB will be recreate, or every time it will be recreate. So whenever we are starting SQL server, and my model database is corrupted, how TempDB will be recreate? Won't create, right? Without TempDB, SQL it won't start. That is the reason. So in that case, if you model DB corrupted, so we have separate session for system database corruption. Okay, I'm going to show you practically, and I will show you how many ways you can refer, and mostly every application will follow the different environments, right? What we can maintain production, development, and the test and acceptance, UAT, and all the environments will follow the same level of configuration of model database, right? You can go simple shortcut. You can copy model database from other instance to this instance, and that is the one shortcut. And one more reason also is available. Go to this PC, program files. When you go to SQL server, when you go for our instance, go to bin folder. There is called templates. Microsoft is already places the system databases here, and model DB and MSDB and master database. You can copy from here and start the SQL server. After you can restore the master databases. So that is the second method. You can do one thing, and if you already having the backup, you can restore directly. Restore that backup with any other instance with user databases as user databases, and you need to copy that files to that location, and you can start the SQL server by renaming the files. That is the one thing. So different algorithms are I'm going to explain. That's what you need to bear with me. Not easy to understand all the hectic troubleshooting. Okay, we're going to spend some time decent demos, and again I'm telling all the demos. Okay, not theoretical. In coming sessions, we are lot practical sessions, not theoretical systems, less theoretical, but couple of concept at anyhow we need to bear with me. For the theoretical, I cannot help you. You need to read and again. Hope you understand. If model database is corrupted, SQL will be run and it won't start. But you are getting some warning symbols every time. SQL will be down start because without model database, MDB never creates, and MSDB. Whenever you are selecting a database engine, so you got two services, right? One is SQL Server services, one is agent services. Your complete SQL Server agent is rely on MSDB database, depends on MSDB. Like your SQL Server service rely on a master database, right? Your SQL Server agent is rely on the MSDB database. Means your complete automation is working with the MSDB database. All your automation kind of like the jobs, alerts, and operations and proxy accounts. Okay, all your automations is working with MSDB database. Along not only with automation, MSDB will be also maintain the historical information, and MSDB also maintain the historical information. What historical information MSDB will maintain? The historical information about your backups and restores and replication information, and MSDB will be maintaining the historical information about your backups, restore, and the log shippings and replications and SSIS packages. It will also maintain the history of the operations. So if someone is coming to you and asking, hey, can you please full me the backup reports? You can get it the backup from the MSDB. Hey, can you please last retrieve report from last 3 months? You can get it from MSDB only. So MSDB maintain the history and historical information. Not only automation, not only automation, it will also maintain the history of your backups, restore, and log shippings. All this historical information will be maintained by the MSDB database. Automation means and alerts operators. If you want to make automation like jobs, I want to create the jobs, and I need to run. This completely this con this kind of automation is rely on the MSDB database. If MSDB is corrupted, what will happen? Nothing, your SQL services will run, and you can do whatever operations you can do, but only the agent will be down. This agent SQL Server agent services will be down if MSDB is corrupted. Nothing will happen to the SQL Server. Your SQL Server will run, but you are getting the pop-up. But we can connect the SQL Server and we can perform the whatever the operations, but completely automation will be down. Complete SQL server will be down. Is MSDB is corrupted. Now tempdb I cannot explain you in this session. Again, I will come up with this concept in advanced level. We are working with the troubleshooting again. Please bear with me. Troubleshooting is not a discussing. We have separate session for the troubleshooting now. MDB I cannot discuss in 5 minutes. Again, I am telling I cannot explain you MDB for 5 minutes. There are separate session for MDB. We are going to spend some hours. Okay, complete about MDB. Okay, just for today I'm making 3 sentence for but we have separate session. We discuss more about tempdb and what is tempdb architecture and what is tempdb best practices, what is the enhancement has been done on the every version to version, like 2016 to 2017 to 2016, 2017 and 2019. What enhancement done by Microsoft and what is the TempDB contention, what is TempDB spill and how to troubleshoot the TempDB. All we are going to discuss in advanced level. As of now, I am going to explain the 3 points about TempDB. But TempDB is very critical database. Again, I am telling it is very critical database when you are dealing with performance tuning. When you are dealing with performance, TempDB will plays very critical role when you are working with troubleshooting. So I cannot explain you just in 5 minutes today as part of today introduction databases. I just giving some only 3 points to you. What are the 3 points means? TempDB will contains the temporary data. That is the first point. And TempDB will maintain the temporary data. Means anyone can access the TempDB. It's like a shared database. I am performing select statement. Anyone can perform the insert operation, and another one is performing update statement. But backend it is using tempdb only, but we won't know and we don't know, application team don't know. As dba we can get it the information, but application team is don't know, but somewhere they are using tempdb without any permission based on your configuration of your sql server, based on your transactions, whatever you are performing, it will use the tempdb. You can call it as a shared database. Anyone can access the tempdb without any permissions, and tempdb contains the temporary data. We cannot take backup of the tempdb. TempDB does not support the backups. It does not support the backups. Second point means you cannot take backups of the TempDB because it is the temporary, right? It is temporary. Even take backup also, it is no use. That's why Microsoft has been disable complete backup on TempDB. All databases you can take backup, but except TempDB, all database you can take backup except tempdb. And the second point, tempdb contains the temporary data, and the tempdb we cannot take the backups on tempdb. And the third point, tempdb will be recreate every time when you restart the sql server. When you restart the sql server, tempdb will be recreate every time. You can go and watch tempdb. Just now I restarted a SQL server, right? Just now I restarted 24 minutes back. When you go to tempdb properties, it will tell us. When you go to the tempdb properties, it will tell us when your SQL server has been started. If so, someone is asking how you can identify when my SQL has been started, go and see here tempdb creation time, and go and see your creation time. You can get it know. You can get to know when your SQL server has been started, and tempdb will recreate every day, every time. You cannot take backups on tempdb. Tempdb will contain the temporary data. These 3 points, that is it as of today. We are having separate sessions are about tempdb. We are going to discuss a lot. Okay, and last but not least, resource database. Resource database, it is a hidden database. You can go and watch here. here there is no database, right? It is completely hidden. Resource database is a hidden database. You cannot open, you cannot see that. It is complete hidden database, contains all the system related data. Everyone knows, maximum people's they can answer you master is the heart of your SQL server, but master is the heart of SQL server. Master is nothing but SQL server, but not master, sir. Your resource database is the heart of your SQL server. Master is nothing but subset of when you stand opposite to the mirror. What you can see in mirror? Your image only, right? Yes or no? Whatever you are seeing in the mirror, that is master. Actually is the resource database. Let me tell you. When I expand the master databases, I cannot see any in the master database, right? I don't have any system tables. Just now I told you, right? Master database contains logins, password, linked servers, something. Where is available? No master database, just nothing but substance. Actually, where your data is getting resource database. When you expand views and expand a views, you can see the views in system credentials under system data files under system databases, and scroll down, logins, system stats, and resource database is the original. Actually, master is the your mirror. Master just mirror for the source resource database. Actually, your data is in resource database. Viv is nothing but subset of your table. Subset of table. Original is the object. Okay. Table is the table is original. Whoever standing opposite to the mirror, he is the original. Whatever image you are seeing in the mirror is a view. Okay. So resource is the original and master is the subset. Resource is the original database, sir. Actually, but we are not taking resource database backup, right? So when you take the backup of a master database, it is capturing from the resource database only. Okay, data is capturing from resource database when you're taking the master database backup. What identified it? My observation services see practically approved also, and so there is no tables in master database. Means master is no original data set, where in a master database only you are able to see the views. View is nothing but subset of the your tables, where original data is available in the resource database. As a student psychology, Microsoft came on 2005. I mean, to 15 years back, Microsoft thought like as a student psychology, instead of creations, we morely love deletion, right? Whenever you are attending any trainings, what will happen if I can delete that one first thing we can think, right? That is the purpose Microsoft came up with the different concept on SQL Server 2005. Before 2005, we are only four databases: master, model, and MSDB and TempDB. And Microsoft came up with one more database, that is resource database. So what understanding means, resource databases is a hidden database. It's contain all the system related data. That is only one thing, one point. And one more point is a resource database improve the upgradation. When you are trying to upgrade your SQL server, resource database will improve the performance. How means, earlier so what is doing, right? It is drafting the DLLs.exes, and it is recreating whenever we create we before like 2000 SQL server. When you are trying to upgrade the SQL server, it is drafting and it is dropping and it is recreating the DLLs and .exe files every time. Everything but from resource database implemented, it is just overwriting. Resource database will also improve the performance of your upgradation by overwriting the object, overwriting the DLLs, and overwriting the .exe files, but not well documented about this one. But this is also one point where I can came up with escalation engineer. Two things: resource database is hidden databases, resource database which contain the original data. Actually, original data will be available in the resource database. Someone may ask you, what is the location of your database, what is the location of your resource database. You can tell, go to binary files, go to binary files, go to program files, and go to Microsoft SQL Server, go to SQL Server, go to SQL, go to bin folder. You can search MS SQL system resource, MS SQL system resource. Both are files are same only, but type is different, but the file extension is different. Under .mdf, LDF, system SQL Server database transaction log file, SQL Server database primary data file. Two are the resource databases. Clear, right? 5 system databases. This is about your system databases along with SQL Server Management Studio. Along with SQL Server Management Studio, you are having one more tool called SQL Server Configuration Manager. You can search like SQL Server Configuration Manager. So when you go for SQL Server Configuration Manager, you will get it only SQL Server related stuffs only. Okay, SQL Server related. You can get it from the SQL Server Configuration Manager, like services, like you want to see protocols, and you want to stop and start. You will see complete your SQL Server related information. Configuration you can perform at the Configuration Manager. When you want to stop the SQL services, you can go and stop it. You want to start the SQL service, you can start it. Whenever you want to change any parameters and SQL level parameters, you can do it from SQL Configuration Manager. And like not only, okay, if you want to disable the protocols, if you want to enable the protocols, again you will get some confusion. You will get it some confusion. SQL Server native configuration and SQL Server native client configuration. We are getting these two. See SQL Server network configuration. See here and see here also. You will see SQL Server network configuration for 32-bit, and we never go for because SQL Server is completely designing from 64-bit operating system, right? So whenever you get any details about 32 now, so that is this is the related to 64-bit. This is the related to 64-bit. That's why when you were able to see these duplicate names, SQL Server network configuration, SQL Server and native client. 2 is the 32-bit operating system. We no more using, but still Microsoft providing these two services. These two services for 64-bit operating system. We have sessions how to create alias of SQL about, okay, all we are going to discuss in separate different sessions. How to create alias, name of SQL Server, how to connect SQL servers with alias names. We have separate session because you need to be become something more strong, and that more core components. Then you can go for a difficult concept. That is what my intention. And also here, what you can do means, when you go to protocols, go to TCP IP properties. Bottom will see IP address. What IP address your SQL server is listening currently? As already told you, right? By default, port number is 1433. So assume you have multiple instances. Each instance with the listen with the port number. Each instance will listen is one port number. By default, will be some cases dynamic port number. And whenever use the dynamic port number, you need to use static port number you need to use. So port number will start with 1000, and don't go for 1 2 3. We never make port number 1 2 3 4. Make port number greater than 1000 to 32,000. You may make if you want to, you can make it your port number. You will port number, don't make it 1 or 2 3 4. Don't make it, not make sense. Make greater than 1000 plus, 2000 plus, and make up to your up to you can reach 32,000 as well. We never install. We can install 50 times, right? SQL server. We'll get it. We'll create only 54 port numbers. Okay. In case if they want to different port number, okay, your application team will check with our application team whether really they need a default port number. We never encourage default port number 1433. So we'll go for a random port number like you can go for 156517851985. Let me change 1985. Let me restart SQL server. You can go for one port number and go for static only. Go for static. We should not go for the dynamic port numbers. Whenever you change port number, you need to restart the SQL server. If you change any configuration level, you need to restart the SQL server and again you need to downtime. Let me check whether port number is changed or not. It is changed, right? Let me go for error logs. Let me go to recent error logs. You can search Control F and you can find it. Now I have given 1985, right? See, a server is listening on 1985. Server SQL is listening 1985. Whatever I port I specified. Now this port I'll inform to the application team. Yeah, whenever you're passing the parameters to this port number, you can authenticate to SQL server. Even from SSMS also, if you want to connect with SQL server with port number, go to instance name, comma 1985 port number. I have connected with port number, right? Along with the port number, I connected with port number 1985. Okay, we are going to discuss one service. Okay, remaining and integration and analysis and reporting we are going to discuss later. And let me discuss about browser service. What is browser service? What will happen? Browser service, how to help you, and when you are having multiple instances in same server, browser service will be help you. Whenever you are having multiple instances in one server, if you're having only one instance in SQL server, if you have only one instance in server, no need any browser service. And also if you want to multiple instances also, as for Microsoft recommended, you need to disable the browser service. Okay. Browser service is something dangerous service. You need a best practice of SQL server. It is also one best of practices when you never enable the browser service in real world as a best practice. We should not enable the browser service because service will help you lot when you are authenticate SQL server. Whenever authenticate SQL server, so you need to pass the instance name, you need to pass the port number, you need to pass instance name, you need to pass the port number. If you enable the browser service, you are even not pass any port number. You will authenticate to the SQL server because browser service will someone service will help you a lot whenever you authenticate the SQL server. What browser service will do, right? Browser service help you without the port number to authenticate the SQL server. It's a dangerous service actually to protect our SQL server from the hackers. So whenever trying to connect this SQL, you need to pass the port number. Without the port number, no one should connect the SQL server from remotely. Again, I am telling remotely. When you are connecting remotely, when you want to authenticate the SQL server, you need to authenticate with the port number 945. They will pass along with port number. This is how they made the connection string application thing. So whenever they want to connect authenticate to SQL server, they need to pass the port number again with the instance name. That is the best practices you need to encourage our application team. We never encourage the application to enable the SQL browser service because hackers, right about hacking. They will hack like anything. If our data is very sensitive, you need to more careful. And cluster service again. One more point: browser service will listen one port number like that is 1433 1434 UDP port number. That is 1434 port number. Okay, SQL port number, UDP port. Technically, you can call UDP port number. What is port number of SQL Server browser? 1434. It is very rare case someone may ask you what is a browser service port number. 1434 is a browser service. It is the default port number. So now we are a database administrator. So basically we are a database administrator. We know about what is the DBS will do, and now what is we are going to do in next coming days. But when you go for the developers, when you see from the developer point of your development point of view, what exactly as a developer they are doing, sir? Database, as a database administrator, we are creating databases. We are creating suppose we are creating some employee table. Okay, so whenever we create a database, make sure the owner should be SCA. When you're creating databases, I'm creating employee table. Owner should be SCA. Whenever you create a database, make sure owner should be SCA. Owner should be always our database owners as a place practice, and always our database owner should be SCA. I can create a database called SCA, and I will grant permission to application team and developers team and testers. So what exactly what developers, testers, and they will do means, so as I told you, right, we have different roles. So we have different roles like database administrators. When you go for SQL server, there are two different rules we can play. What are the different roles means? One is development, one is DBA, and one is BI. When you go for BI, Microsoft MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence, SSIS, SSRS, SSAS, and Power BI. So when you have three different roles, we have development role is available, EBA role is available, and BI level role is also available. And so analytics come into the Power BI intelligence, business intelligence. Now developers, what is the purpose of developers means? They will start writing the codes. What can store procedures? That can be store procedures. That can be functions. For your understanding, when you expand the databases, when you expand our databases, what I have created, see, we can design database, we can design tables, we can design views, we can design store procedures, we can design functions, triggers, lot many things. So that is the main purpose your developers. Once we are creating databases, we will hand over to the application team. They will play with this, and these are all creating tables, and creating views, creating the store procedures, creating the functions, and they are writing the lengthy programs. That is what developer works. Okay, developers means they actually maintaining the data. We are just maintaining the data, and we are protecting the data. We are securing the data. That's what actually we are doing. But actually the work is running by developers only. Any database management system, it's common for all, not only for SQL Server. It's for Oracle, it's for MySQL, it's for PostgreSQL. Okay, actually your developers are performing all this stuff. What exactly what the developers, when you go for development, when you go for the development, sir, they will creating the object. They are creating the objects is nothing but tables, views, and store procedures, and functions, and triggers, and indexes. So we have number of objects in SQL server. You can create the tables, you can create the views, you can create the store procedures, you can create the functions, you can create the triggers. That is the main purpose of your developers. Developers are starting creating the object. They are going to perform their own transactions. We are not worrying what kind of data they are trying to load, because it's project to projects again. If it is banking projects, more sensitive data they will load into the database. If insurance related data, they are going to store their insurance data related database. Oil and gas, they are going to store oil and gas data. So whatever the project you are being supporting, like while how much, like some of the profits, how much profit, how much is the sale, all kind of stock they are going to store in the database. Where being bank stores all we are being banks store all anything, sir, any product or stores about your data you are storing in database. Whenever you're going to development, especially there is one SQL and TSQL. When you go for Oracle, you can use SQL and PLSQL. Okay, they have segregated into two categories. SQL is the common for all database management system. If you go for Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, Sybase, and MySQL, you will see the common language called SQL, structure query language. They are going to create the objects that going to create the object. What exactly what developers are doing? So developers are doing to create the object, create the store procedures, manipulate the data, and reading the data and updating the data. So all this what developers. So when you are go for a DBA, when you are good at DBA and going to backup and restore, granting the permissions, high availability, and maintaining the performance, all the stuffs are is doing by DBA, right? Then what is BI tools? What is the doing? What is the doing? BI tools is doing business intelligence tool like Informatica and SSIS and Power BI. These are all virtualization tools, business intelligence tools. Because you are having terabytes of data and you want to load into the database, it's not easy directly, sir. They are doing use the integration service. You are going to use the data factory. They are going to use the Informatica to load the data into the databases. Whenever you are getting the data very use, so kind of activities they are going to do the BI. So they are going to use these tools. They are going to use the tools or business intelligence tool. So when you go for the reporting purpose, they will use Power BI and SSRS. Is these are all reporting tools whenever we are generating bank statement. So you are getting your bank statement logo and bank address and bank signature and bank manager signature. You are getting in the table format along with segregated with rows and columns, right? How you are getting that structure? They will using some third-party tools, Tableau, Power BI, database can be SQL Server. They are getting the data from the SQL and they are presenting in the graphical user interface. So all this stuff we can do. We need to know as a database administrator. If you simply blindly go for a database administrator, you will never become the stronger. What exactly global is looking, where we are standing, global, where global is actually where we are standing now. You can connect to SQL server, you can open current to the in third party where your data is source. I was SQL server administrator, so because my main to SQL server databases, you are so stronger in DBA, then start working with the development and start. It is very easy, not like C++, the Java. It is very easy. Once you good at the development, go for BA tools as well. And that source can be Excel, and your source can be SAP, your source can be Oracle, and exactly the data, extract data to the SQL server, then transform the data. Some validations, then lower the data into the SQL of good extract, transform, and load. When you go for a development part, we are having SQL and TSQL. So let it be focus on today SQL part. When you go for SQL, structure query language, it is a language. Certain comments, a language, sir, having certain comments. Let me see when you go for a SQL server, there are five languages are available. There are five languages are available and data manipulation language and data definition language, data control language, and transaction language, and data retrieval language. Common for all database management system. This is common for all database management system except NoSQL. Maybe the syntax will be vary, but the concept is again same for NoSQL like MongoDB and Amazon Aura and Cosmos DB. These are all for NoSQL, no relation database management system. You can load your data like anything. These commands and these languages same for common for MySQL and DB2. This is common for all. It contains 5 different languages and DML and DDL and DRL and DCL and TCL. Okay, I have contained 5 different languages. For that, first I'm going to DDL. Data definition language. There are 6 commands. Sorry, 5 commands when you go for the DDL. When you go for a DDL data definition language, these are all five. These are all five language. 5 commands are available. And create, truncate, and rename, and draw. You can trigger, sir. What are the command? What are the 5 commands? I can create the table. I can alter the table. I can truncate the data in the table. I can rename the object related to the objects. I can drop the table. I can uh, I can create the object. Object can be table and store procedures and index. So objects can be anything. If you want to do create store procedure, you'll use the create statement. If you want to create functions, you will use the create statement. If you want to alter the store procedure using, you will just alter. If you want to modify the store procedure, you can use alter. If you want to modify the table, then you can alter perfect structure. Once you create a table, if you want to modify something, you will use the alter statement. Create, I am going to create the table. I am going to store the, I am create the store procedure. I am going to create views. I am going to create two indexes. I am going to create functions, and I am going to create cursors. Different objects in available in SQL Server. So these are all 5 commands is applicable for DDL operations. You can create in any object in SQL Server. Alter, if you want to do modify something, not a data structure. I can don't confusion. I'm not modifying the data. I'm modifying the structure of the object. If you want to modify the structure of the object, we will perform the alter. Leave it about truncate. We'll discuss. If you want to rename the object, we will rename it. If you want to delete, you can drop it. If you want to delete object, you can use drop. This 5 will work all the kinds of objects except truncate. I am telling create, alter, rename, and drop will compatible with for all the objects that can be table, that can be view, that can be index, that can be store procedure, functions, triggers. You can create. You can either you can alter, you can rename it, you can drop it. And then what is truncate? Truncate will works only on the tables, work only tables only. Truncate would work on tables only. So when you truncate table name, so truncate will keep the structure of the table and delete the complete data. So it will erase the complete data in the table, but it will keep the structure of your table. Your table will be available, but the data will be completely erased when you use the truncate option. And what is happening? Your structure will be available, but your data will be completely erased from background, back, back, background, everything. There will be one more important interview question also, even your DBA. They may ask you 2 questions are here, and what is difference between truncate and delete? Very important. And what is difference between TCL and DCL? This is one more very important. Even your DBA, they may ask you with these 2 questions. These 2 questions. So DDL commands will be create the structure and alter the structure, modify the structure, drop the entire object. You can perform 5 commands in the DDL commands. DDL DDL is a language, data definition language. That is the one thing. Now one more thing, data manipulation language. So when you go for a data manipulation language, you can insert the data, you can update the data, and you can delete the data. These 3 operations you are performing. I'm going to insert the data. I'm going to update the data. I'm going to delete the data. These 3 operations you can perform in the DML, data manipulation language. insert, update, delete. You can insert the data, you can update the data, you can delete the data. Mostly use the comments. Mostly these comments use it in DML. Insert. You are going to place a order, that is inserting. You are going to update the order, it is updating. You are going to cancel the order, it is deleting. That is what throughout our global we are performing right now. DRL, data retrieval language, only select operations. You are reading the data retrieval language, reading the data whenever you are getting the your bank statement, when you are seeing your data. If something data, whenever you're seeing your data, right, something data, so that is the nothing but data retrieval language. So data retrieval is nothing but select statement. Okay, so data retrieval is nothing but select statement. See the data which is available in your database, then you will perform only one command, that is select command. Select, data retrieval language, nothing but select. Okay, reading the data whenever you want to read the data, you have only one SQL command, that will be select operation. If you want to become more stronger over the reporting tools, you're reading the data when you want to read the data, you have only one command, that is select operation. If you want to become more stronger over the reporting tools like Power BI, SSRS, Tableau, and ClickView, okay, then you should design the select, and how you are designing your select statement. So select is nothing but reading the data. So presenting your data using Power BI, SSRS, Tableau, ClickView, you're presenting data. I'm reading the data and I'm presenting with you graphical user interface. You can use any one. Now TCL, transaction control language. So whatever you are writing programmatic programmatic language. So when you go for programming, not in SQL, when you are writing SQL queries, so no need to perform commit our rollback or save points, and by default, so by default all your insert, update, delete, all auto commit. Your data will move to the MDF, auto commit. Automatically it will commit the data. And when you are performing insert, update, delete, when you start writing with program language like begin transaction, okay, when you are writing the same insert operation with begin transaction, then you need to express, tell to SQL, hey, commit the rollback and keep save the point. When you're writing the programming language, probably they will writing thousands of lines. So what they will do, they will make save point, one save point, so that they can start from test lines onwards. Whenever they're writing from tomorrow, that is what save points. When you are writing the code, when you try to insert and update, delete in the design transaction, explicitly you need to tell SQL server, mm, hey, commit my SQL server my transaction, so that it will store the into the MDF file. Commit and rollback. I don't want to make the changes reflect to the database, just to reverse whatever I have done. That is rollback. Started inserting the data after couple of minutes. You release. Okay, I don't want to this data. You can make it rollback option. You make it rollback option. If you make a commit, it will move into the database. Save points is the TCL transaction command transaction control language, TCL command transaction control language, and DCL data control language. So how you can control your data? Either you can grant the permissions, or you can revoke the permissions to our DBA task. Basically, how will and how will grant the permission to certain user, how will revoke the permission to certain user. Okay, so grant and revoke. Grant means you are allowing someone to access the data. Revoke means you are restrict the users to access your data. These are all five languages available in the SQL server. That is what today's session, and tomorrow we'll come up with other another concept. Thank you for all.